Hello everyone. Doing another video. I'm actually replacing the videos that for whatever reason the microphone um it was bad. It was real bad. But anyway, I was just speaking about healing and sharing my story. My story is a long story, but it's not. I'll tell it in parts. I'm not going to tell my whole story here. Um my family was murdered. And this is the first time I'm really letting things out. I was on some of the local stations here in Houston when it first happened. It's in 2018. And I want to say my heart goes out to people who have been through this situation, because it's not only was my family murdered, okay, and this is family like sleep in the same bed, live in the same house type family. My cousin and his family were murdered, and actually, in actuality, that whole year, from the time that happened to like back again to 2019, several people had been murdered that I knew, like knew, like not, oh, that was some neighbor down the street. No, these are people that I've had conversations with, hugged, Christmas presents, all that kind of stuff, friends. Um, and it was just like some kind of deep darkness that came over the area. I don't know, the world, whatever you want to call it. And the person that did it for this, my particular, my cousin and his family, his 6-year-old, well, actually, he wasn't able to turn 6, but his girlfriend and his 5-year-old, was a person that they knew and my cousin had been trying to help as a friend. I don't know to what extent was he trying to help, but I mean, I know my cousin. We grew up in a ministry family, so it was like basically do everything that you can to help other people. So anyway, they were lured out into the dark on a Sunday night after church, and then they were no more. And I'm saying this and I'm sharing this because several months later, I found myself in the same situation. And I mean, I heard Spirit tell me, if you don't do something now, you're going to end up just like your cousin and his family. And it threw me because at that time, by that time, I had lost my other friends to workplace violence, and my other cousin was murdered in his own home. And so I was going through this situation. It's like, people have the capability of doing the deepest, darkest, most horrible things with a smile on their face. Like, they can smile at you, and 10 minutes later, you're no longer with us. And so I found myself in that situation, and it was like, this is a warning. You are going to be next if you don't do something with your life. And I had been nice to a neighbor, and then I had taken in some of my in-laws, and the house was full. Okay, my house was full, and I was working full time. I had just had a baby. Yeah, I had just had a baby, my second. So I had a little one that was basically trying to walk, and then I had another one that was rocking in my arms. And my mom was helping me to kind of care for them while I went to work. And my ex was bringing in the people. And my house is your house. You know, take a sit on my chair. Your chair is my chair. My food is your food. And so there was a night where we had taken in one of our neighbors, and the guy flipped out. Flipped out. And I called the dude's mom, and I was like, because I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, who would be able to calm a person down when they flip out? Mom, right? Because don't nobody wants to act a fool in front of their mom, right? Nobody's going to commit a crime in front of their mom, right? And I wasn't even thinking about that at the time, but I was thinking, who would calm him down? Because he's just like, I'm gonna kill all of y'all. I'm gonna da 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 da. And he had been sleeping on my couch. And excuse me. And then I had his mom on the phone, and he was like, sorry guys, neighbors or somebody who's outside. He is yelling, talking about you. Oh, you call my mom? Oh, you're about to die for real now. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm freaking out, and this guy is going nuts. And let me tell you why he was going nuts. He was going nuts over a charger. Someone had moved a charger. A charger that he had borrowed from me, because I'm the geek that I am. I had extra chargers laying around. He went completely nuts over a charger and decided that he was going to kill us all. He didn't care if it was my babies in the house, my in-laws' babies. I say babies, but they were, kids. Like, I want to say the one was 3 or 4 and the other one was 12. But I mean, so I had a house full of family, and this dude is talking about, I'm gonna kill y'all, after we opened our house and opened our fridge and opened our everything for him to be there in the house under a roof that was stable, that I thought was stable at the time. And this guy, and at that point it was like, remember your cousin? Remember? And spirit was just, I mean, right? I don't know if y'all hear the spirit speak to you, right? But I've, talked to angels, ancestors, most high. I talk to them like people, like we're right here, right? Like I'm talking to you. And then spirit was like, yeah. You opened your, yes, this is what I'm trying to tell you. You can't open your home to everyone, right? And I'm having all these triggers, right? Because I'm like, I got to get this dude out of my house, because I'm going to end up like my cousin, because this dude has a gun, and this dude is really trying to kill me with his mama on the phone, right? With me and my babies here. And, even, and then my ex was like, oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, yes, he did. You just weren't going to be, you might not have even been there, and just come home to a house full of dead people. And then what? We have a vigil. We wonder why it happened. All of that stuff. The things that I have already done for other people in my life. And you're telling me that this dude didn't mean to say that he was going to kill me. Matter of fact, he didn't just say he was going to kill us. He said he was going to go get his homeboys from down the street, and they were all going to come kick in the door and kill us all. And I'm just like, what? You used to be polite. You were polite 3 or 4 hours ago. You were smiling 3 or 4 hours ago. You were talking about Jesus 2 or 3 hours ago. Okay? And all of a sudden, light switch. And so that's when I realized I cannot open my space to others. Okay? It's not always, we can talk about energy vampires. That's fine. We know to stay away from energy vampires, people who suck the life out of you or suck energy from you to make themselves feel strong, to feel and drain you of your energy, or being an empath, right? Taking on other people's issues and problems. But to actually have someone violate 1010 on the phone, violate your whole house and bring a spirit of murder inside of your home where you sleep. And by that time, I had actually had a couple of people when I had awakened while I was pregnant, and I'm looking up and there's people standing over me in the dark. And if that didn't scare the crap out of me, how about the death threats? And I still did it. Was it clicking? Yes, finally it was clicking. So anyway, I share my story not because, not out of even anger, right? I want to help someone else who is in a situation. It's not an abusive relationship. It's not a whatever, the whole red flags thing. It didn't happen for you. But for whatever reason, you just brought someone into your house. You can't bring people into your house. Let every man have their own space. Let every person, people who talk about they need some place to stay to, get on their feet, take them to a shelter. If you want to volunteer, go to a shelter. Like I was telling you, I grew up ministry. I grew up having people in my home all the time. And I grew up with a spirit of depression and oppression but I could not figure out where it was coming from. And I could not I don't know why I was not making the connection of when people came into my house and my parents would say, so-and-so, doesn't have as much as you do. So-and-so doesn't, this person, blah, 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 blah. And I would feel sorry for people because I was like, oh my gosh, they don't have the things that I have. They don't have a mom and dad the way that I have a mom and dad. Oh my gosh, they went through so much, right? And then I would feel so sorry for them, and then I would let them run me over. I would let people take things from me, or borrow things and never return them, or tell me that I didn't deserve certain things because, you don't deserve to live in this nice house. You don't deserve to have two parents. I don't have two parents. Why do you deserve to have two parents? You're nobody special. People would actually tell me that growing up over and over in a house where my parents were helping them, were giving them money, were taking them places, were doing things for them to help them grow and expand and elevate, right? My parents were doing the best that they could for their family and for people out there. But they brought a lot of people into the house and not realizing these people were speaking to me. They were ministering their spirits to me, their evil spirits to me, that I didn't deserve what I had, even though I was sitting in the nice house, even though I had a bed to sleep in at night, even though, we were able to every once in a while, like go to McDonald's or whatever. But I didn't deserve any of that, is what they told me. I didn't deserve any of it. Why? Because you're nothing special. And I would never say that I was I would take, like my grandmother used to say, I would take my eyeballs out and give it to people if they asked me to, because of the nature of what my parents taught me was to be giving, was to be godlike, right? But then I didn't realize the other side of God that lets you stew in your whatever because of the attitude that you have, because of the entitlement that you feel, because of the spirit that you do things in, right? I do things for people to get something back. There are those out here. There are those people out here. But I don't want to continue to go on a rant or whatever. But what I'm saying is like my whole lifelong lesson has been to not have people completely coming into your space. And like my uncle had said a couple days ago, actually, he was like, why do you want people to it's like party up at your house? He didn't say party up, but like having all these gatherings, right, that are outside of your family, right? Why? He was like, just rent a hall, hang out for a couple of hours, pay the people, to clean up, and leave and come home to your nice house in your nice peaceful spot. And that's the lesson that a lot of people don't learn, is not to invite everybody into your space. Even people who you're like, oh, that's my buddy, that's my so-and-so, that's my whatever. And then you end up like my cousin, taking his eyeballs out. Being that person that literally sacrifices their life for their friendship. And I love and I miss my cousin. And there are days, not a day goes by that I don't think about texting, calling, sending a message, wishing that my kids were able to be raised with his kids. There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't do that. And I don't want to get too mushy, but when I look at my son and I think about him I think about my cousin when he was his age, crawling into bed, yeah, I scared, and just being around family. But I'm just telling you, be careful. Be careful, because it's not just spirits that you have to incense out, spirits that you have to sage out, spirits that you have to, evil eye and all of that stuff. Sometimes these spirits are murderous, okay? And all the red flags in the world can't stop you. If all the red flags in the world can't stop you, you have to be the sacrifice. That's just not how God wants things to work. So anyway, like, share, subscribe. I hope this helped. And until next time.